Thunder's Mouth Theatre presents a seriously silly screwball comedy serial in which Helen Doherty and the characters from the podcast comedy drama Am I Old Yet find themselves in a weirdly familiar parallel universe involving superheroes. Really? Written and performed by Floyd Kennedy and friends. This is episode 2, Team Helen.
Some sort of prank?
Oh, not at all, Dr. Les Enfants, not a prank. It's really happening. It's my grandmother that's making it happen.
I'm sorry, Susan. I just don't have the time for this, you know? I think you need to get your grandmother to see a psychiatrist.
Oh, please believe me. We both saw it, right, Charlie?
Yes. We were just walking down the street and it was really sudden. There was some, litter, and she just kind of flicked her mouth and it started swirling up into the air, and this went on for about 5 minutes. As we walked past all of the takeaway shops, a flick of the breath, and they were up. They went up, I promise you.
Well, I don't see how I can help you, really. Oh, wait, Susan. Well, what's your grandmother's name? Where does she live?
Her name is Helen Doherty. She's retired, but she's such a special lady.
Helen Doherty? No, I've never heard of her.
I'm sorry. Please excuse me. Good morning. Did you say Helen Doherty?
Yes, she's my grandmother.
I think I may have met her. A very interesting lady. And she said her granddaughter studies here.
Oh, yes, that's me. I'm Susie.
Ah, I'm very pleased to meet you, Susie. How can I help you?
Okay, I'll leave this with you, Dr. Nikolaev.
Oh, you are Dr. Nikolaev, the mathematician.
You can deal with it.
She met you in the park. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, in the park. We had the most interesting conversation. So, Susie, and you are?
Oh, this is my friend Charlie.
Good, Charlie. Come with me then. We will have coffee and you will tell me what is problem with Helen Doherty, your grandma. Is she well?
We believe she's doing something amazing. Not sure exactly what as yet, but we can't get anyone to pay attention. Help spread the word. You know how it is when someone starts doing extraordinary things and they need other people to join them.
So you think of starting a movement?
Well, sort of.
Hell yeah.
But if you are not sure how she does it, or why...
Oh, the why is clear enough. It's to rid the earth of all the pollution. But at the moment, she's just blowing what she can into the sky.
Yes, I have seen it myself. Very impressive.
But you can see that it's obviously too much for one person. She needs help.
She thinks if she can do it, there must be others who can do it too. If we could get some publicity, maybe they would come out of the woodwork and something really good might come out of it.
Well, I think she's doing something good already.
Well, yes, of course, but something big. Bigger.
But I believe that first you need to understand how she is doing it, no? How does she have this breath capacity to do such an extraordinary thing?
Superpower.
And also, where is it going? Is that not important? All that rubbish just doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere.
Oh, of course, you're right.
So we need some access to telescopes to see where it goes after it leaves the atmosphere and to calculate how much is actually being moved.
And is it ever going to be enough? Because there's just more and more rubbish around all the time, going to landfill, being dumped in the rivers and the sea.
Yes, we need some serious calculations. We need facts.
Yes.
Well, I may be able to help. I have friends, colleagues in the Department of Astrophysics, and I'm sure they will know the cosmology people. Perhaps we can get a team together.
Yes, but will they believe us?
All they have to do is look out of the window, Susan. Every time your gran takes a breath, practically.
I think we have enough to get them curious. And that is all a scientist needs to take interest. Let's finish our drinks and see what we can come up with.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks, Professor Nicol.
You may call me Misha.
Thanks, Misha.
Good evening. Here is the 6 o'clock news. Reports are coming in of a strange phenomenon which seems to involve piles of litter being lifted up off the ground and shot into outer space. Eyewitnesses report seeing empty cans, used takeaway food boxes, and plastic bags apparently rising up of their own volition, collecting into a whirlwind or tornado-like structure, and then flying up into the sky at great speed. Josie Harkins from the South West London Weekly News has this report.
Thank you, Martin. Yes, these strange events are being recorded all over South West London. As you can see from this video, taken earlier today by a resident in Wimbledon, the litter seems to be acting independently, with no visible assistance. Also, according to the Weather Bureau, there were no strong winds at the time. I spoke to Chief Meteorologist Dr. Callum Schrodinger earlier today. Can you explain how this is happening, Dr. Schrodinger?
Well, we are absolutely stumped here, Joe. As far as we can make out from all the instrumentation we have on the ground, and from satellite observations, there was very little air movement in the area at the time these events were reported. Even if there was some local disturbances in the air, perhaps from heavy traffic passing by, for instance, it still doesn't account for the acceleration of the piles of rubbish once it had accumulated above the heads of the people watching.
Well, yes, it looks as if it's being shot out of a cannon.
Directly upwards. I have no explanation for this at this time. Of course, we are working on understanding it as fast as we can, so I encourage your listeners to send in their observations immediately. The more information we have, the sooner we can understand what's going on.
You mean you'll know how to stop it?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
Thank you, Dr. Schrodinger. And there you are, Martin. Although I'm not sure we want it to stop. If this is going to help to clean up our streets, surely it's a good thing.
Thank you, Joe. I'll need to get back to you on that. In the meantime, here is the news from Parliament.
Janie, sweetheart.
Yes, what is it?
Did you hear the news just now?
What was that?
The news. Did you hear
On
it?
the TV?
Yes. Did you hear it? They're talking about your mother.
What? No. Already? I wonder if that's Susie's doing. What did they say?
Well, they don't know it's her, but it's definitely this blowing away the rubbish thing.
On the news. The BBC.
Yes, the actual BBC News. They had a reporter interviewing someone from the Weather Bureau explaining it can't be the wind that's doing it.
Why not?
Because there was no wind.
There was no wind.
No. So it has to be something else. And it won't be long before they figure it out.
How so?
Once they get the boffins involved, they'll measure where it's coming from. They'll narrow it down to the area where your mother lives. Once the press gets onto it, it won't take them long to figure it out.
Well, and then what? Isn't this a good thing? Don't we want people to know it's her?
I wouldn't have thought so. You know what the press can be like. And what was that about Susie? Has she been talking to the press?
No, not as far as I know. But she did say we need to spread the word.
What? Why on earth would she want to do that? They will make her life a misery. Camp on her doorstep, accuse her of witchcraft.
No, they won't. They wouldn't. She's doing something wonderful. Why would they do that?
Because doing good things doesn't sell newspapers. They'll make her out to be something weird. Janie, call your daughter and tell her to stop.
You call your daughter. You tell her to stop.
Did you put her up to it in the first place?
No, not at all. I just mentioned that Mum couldn't possibly clean up the whole planet on her own.
Right. Well, you're right. She can't. But she won't be able to do anything if she's hounded by the paparazzi day and night. We've got to find a way to protect her till we can figure out what's going on.
She'll need a disguise.
A what?
A disguise, so she can't be recognised. Oh dear, and I thought those superhero disguise tropes were all so silly.
And they are. But in this instance, absolutely necessary. Right, then. You call your mother. I'll get hold of Susie. Team Helen, we're on the case.
That was Team Helen, Episode 2. The cast is as follows. Edward Donnelly played Dr. Professor Le Pensier, Martin the TV news announcer. Christopher McDougall played Charlie and Dr. Callum Schrödinger. Iris Seidenstein played Dr. Misha Nikolaev. Frances Oldbridge Brody played Josie Hawkins. John Warner played Jonathan, while Susie and Janie were played by me, Floyd Kennedy. The music, written and performed by John T LaBarbera, is from his album In the Labyrinth. Do check out his website, www.johntLaBarbera.com. Yes, this is a spin-off program from the podcast Am I Old Yet? Please rate and review it when you have a moment. And if you're able to support our production costs with a small donation, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/amioldYet or by becoming a subscriber at patreon.com/amioldYet. Thanks for listening. Stay safe.